Monster Care Squad is a narrative-focused tabletop RPG about healing monsters and definitely not about hunting monsters, made by Sandy Pug Games. Welcome to the world of Ald-Amura, where monsters and humans live in harmony, until a mysterious poison was afflicted upon the monsters, named false gold for the wounds it produces. It brings great pain and suffering to the monsters, causing them to lose control of their powers and bring havocs to the land. This is where you come in, part doctor, part adventurer. The monster care specialists will be traveling through the lands of Ald-Amura as the Monster Care Squad, in search of monsters sick from the poison, and to find a cure that will rid them of the pain. Said monsters also include but not limited to, reality-bending octopus, regretful Mount Everest, the most relatable one-eye goat in the world that just want to chill and also have no power whatsoever, socialist rat that might not be a rat and could be literally an idea, death balloon that can kill the world but want to hurt no one no more, and a dragon, because of course. To start playing Monster Care Squad, first you need all the dices, but you mostly need these two, and of course, you need to make your own specialists. To first make your own specialists, set up the following stats, which will be used in various moves by adding the stat number to a 2d6 roll. You also get to write down 4 trainings and 1 background to fill in for each of the stat, so when specific scenario where your trainings and background are good for comes up, you get a +1 to the roll. Trainings are things like surgery, resuscitation, monster biology, things you would expect a specialist that cares for monsters to know. Backgrounds are something outside of these training and more who your character is, like for example, professional wrestler. Trust me, that background will be a lot more useful than you think. Your specialists also gain a signature equipment, a unique tool that only your character have, like a wheelchair specifically designed for monster grappling, or a cooking wok made out of super alloy that can handle any heat and abuse. This signature equipment will gain you an ace, which is like a one-time bonus to your roll. I will explain that later. Besides that, your specialists also gain, well, specialties, 2 things only your specialists can do that might just be helpful in your journey, which can even be something magical, but most importantly, the specialties should not make your character pointlessly and stupidly overpowered. Finally, you also get 2 starting moves from this massive list, of which the moves can let you do things like, give you a loyal mount that can get you just about anywhere, fish in a nearby river to get either an enticing fish or an old boot filled with something someone might be looking for, pull random stuff out of your bag that might just save your ass, have an in with an union to get some extra helps, or let you put a 100 feet tall monster in a pinning hold so you have a chance to shove medicine down its throat. See, I told you being a pro wrestler is a good skill for a specialist. And, as an advice, it's better to have the players specialize in different aspect. This allows each player to shine when things they are good at come up. Teamwork after all, is overpowered, and that's good. You might also notice that each move have this word besides them. It basically stands for which phase of the game you can use them for, and speaking of phases, let's actually talk about how you help the monsters out. The actual gameplay loop of Monster Care Squad comes in 3 phases: diagnosis, where you find the whereabout of a sick monster and diagnose its sickness from clues it left behind; synthesis, where you makes the medicine on site or solve problems on the spot; and symbiosis, where you try to get an enraged and wounded 100 feet tall patient to eat their medicine. In both diagnosis and synthesis phases, the GM will put out a clock, and you have to pass moves available in each phases to hopefully get more success than failure in that phase, which can provide you with ace and supply that might make symbiosis phase easier for you and your patient. Because you don't get a clock for symbiosis phase, you get an boss battle meter. This is the control tracker for symbiosis phase. You start here, the patient start here. As you take action and the monster attacks you, both you and the monster will move up and down the tracker, depending on your success and failure. The goal of symbiosis phase is to take control of the situation by pushing the monster back, move your butt up the tracker, and when you are still in control, cure the monster of their wounds, which there might be multiple of, so good luck. You might also notice that each space of the tracker has a dice marked for it. This means that when you roll for the cure move to remove wounds, you use the dice you are on to roll for it, and considering you need 10 plus to pass the move, that might sounds a bit difficult when you are not at D10 or D12 space. Luckily, that's why you have ace. Yes, we finally gonna talk about it. Ace is like an extra advantage you might use in an encounter with the monster when things are right. You are basically just adding a D4 to a roll you really want to succeed, and it comes in 3 forms. Character aces are things your character brings into a session, like their signature equipment, trainings, and background, but you can only use them once per session, and it also resets when you fully heal a monster. However, only you can use these aces. Session aces are aces you get as a result of a move, like successful moves during diagnosis and synthesis phases. These can include advices, special herbs, or preparations you took before encounter with monster. However, once you use them, they are gone forever, but anyone could use these at any time. Finally, critical aces are special aces you get from being completely successful during diagnosis or synthesis phases. They represent special preparations you made against patient of the session, and instead of giving you D4, they give you D8 to a roll. This in turn incentivizes players to use their ace during diagnosis or synthesis phase, or narratively role-play out the best part of their specialists to hopefully get a full success during these two phases, as it will make Symbiosis phase a lot easier, and even if you don't get a full success during diagnosis or synthesis phase, you still have a chance to get it if you have high enough success and luck. Nevertheless, I suggest that you use your ace as often as possible, because they come by easily. You want as much success as you can, and you probably don't actually make many rolls in this game. There's even specialist moves you can use to get ace automatically. Finally, when you fully heal your patient, you get to gain an advancement. Basically, pick one of the following, which can include increasing one of your stat, giving you new move, or upgrading one of your existing moves with monster gift. Monster gifts are basically just the monster going, hey, you are pretty cool, and they just give you a power up which might make you temporary furry when you use it, and honestly, that's a bonus. Of course, sometimes, things go wrong. If you are at D4 on the tracker and you got a result that tell you to move even further back, you have to use an ace to keep going, or retreat and find a better solution to heal the monster. This might happens, but as long as you keep going, you will succeed eventually. And that's the gameplay loop of Monster Care Squad. You walk around the land of Ald-Amura, find monsters in pain, and heal them of it. Of course, the book also have some suggestions to change things up a bit, like changing the length of the clocks for a more extensive session, playing a solo mode that allows you to play the game yourself, or adding a game master player character called Mentor with exclusive moves to guide new players through the game. Also, there's the lore, of which the book has a ton of, like 3/4 of the book is just lore. The lore section of Monster Care Squad tells you about the world, the language and naming convention, the government and how they work, possible source of false gold, various locations of Ald-Amura, and of course, an extensive bestiary about the many monsters that inhabit this living world. I fully recommend anyone with the book to read this section, especially the game master, because you could easily bring the world to life for the players with this amount of details, like knowing about the epic destiny of each monster, the history of every location including the one on the moon of Ald-Amura, and even travel or weather events that might occur during your players' travel through the land. It is just such a good read. And that's all on Monster Care Squad, a charming tabletop RPG about professional veterinarians that care for monster. The book is also filled with fantastic artworks, showing the beautiful world of Ald-Amura in their own unique way, so if you want to enjoy the arts at high definition, you could download the high-quality version of the PDF on itch.io, which is rather big. I recommend the smaller one for usual gameplay purpose. Also, there's physical copies, if you want that, and if you are still a bit confused on how to play the game, there's a short example play close to the end of the book that I recommend everyone to read at least once. Anyway, hope you enjoy this book as much as I did. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.